Hello there, lovely people. It's Alex from Nintendo Live here, and Nintendo has just done their E3 Direct, their thing, their shtick, their whole reason for being at E3, and I am going to be talking about it, and I'm going to be talking to myself. I'm also going to be talking to Mr. Xeon.
Excuse me, I would prefer to be known as Zelda now. I know it was Zedon before, but Zelda's my new name now. Sorry.
What about Zedon?
It's too confusing. Xeon's already confusing enough. Yeah.
And if you hadn't guessed from that little snippet of chatteroony, there's John here as well.
Hey, I just want to say I fully embrace Zelda, so it's nice to have you here, Zelda.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
So, we just finished watching it, literally, and we're going to chat about it, give our opinions, as is customary, and then spew them into your waiting ear holes, which I hope you're prepared for. So, we're going to go through it in chronological order, and they started with the reveal of Kazuya from the Tekken series appearing in Super Smash Bros. John, you're maybe a Tekken fan, I've no idea. What did you think?
I enjoy Tekken. I mean, it's not one of my favorite franchises or anything. I think it's going to be cool to have Ryu, Terry, and Kazuya all together fighting. But I can't say I was like, oh my god, this is a mind-blowing announcement, because it wasn't. I mean, it's neat that he's here, it's great to have all these fighting game franchises together, but it's not something that made me lose my mind.
I absolutely agree with you. It feels like a character that deserves a slot, kind of like Terry, that deserve a spot in Smash, you know? Like, he is a legendary character, lots of people like Tekken, and it kind of feels like we're getting another PlayStation character in Smash again, even though I know Tekken isn't married to the PlayStation, but it feels like they deserve this spot. But I also, once again, I don't really care for Kazuya either, so...
One thing that was cool, though, was during the gameplay, if you tuned in during the gameplay reveal, I would have assumed that Tekken 7 was getting a Switch port. It looks exactly like Tekken. He's such a fast and combo-fueled character, and it just looks like they're really playing towards his source material, so that's cool. But I don't think many people were particularly, enthralled by this.
Yeah, I can't deny that it's a fine addition, but I've just got no affinity for Tekken personally. I never grew up with it. I have technically played a Tekken game, but it really is only I've technically played a Tekken game. And yeah, it's fine, but I just sort of feel like we've already got so much fighting game representation, and I know Smash is a fighting game, but I just sort of feel like there should be some puzzle game representation, and I'm just channeling my inner John here.
Yeah, I feel you there. You know what I did love, though? I loved him throwing the corpses of Ganondorf and Pit and Captain Falcon into a volcano.
That was kind of special, and then topped it all off with Kirby, and Kirby doing what Kirby do and just flying away. That was a nice touch. I enjoyed that. There's going to be some more stuff to do with showing off Kazuya on the 28th of June, I believe, at 3 p.m. UK time. So we can get a better look then. Anyway, we then moved on to Life is Strange coming to the Switch, specifically Life is Strange Remastered and Life is Strange True Colors, the main character of which looks amazingly like our very own Kate, which is still throws me every so often.
Yeah, this was a really cool announcement. I've played through the first one, and I've not played through 2 or True Colors, so it's great to finally have those in the Remastered Collection and True Colors coming up. And True Colors isn't even out yet on anything. But it's just a cool game to have on Switch. Like just playing like a chapter at a time on a train journey or something. That's pretty cozy.
I've never played any of them. I've heard very good things about them, and yeah, I'm keen to give it a go. It just sort of seems like, yeah, this is a good Switch inclusion.
Yeah, the first one's a great time. I played through a tiny bit of Beyond the Storm or whatever the second one was called, and I enjoyed what I played. I just fell off of it, and I think it's because I didn't want to play that sort of game on my TV. And yeah, like you guys said, this is just a perfect fit for Switch. I was excited at the idea of True Colors, coming out, and I'm glad for people that enjoy the series, but it feels like it really deserves to be on Switch, so that was a good inclusion.
Next up, we had Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, during this at the bottom, it says about internet connection, so I don't know if it's required for the game or if it's required because it's a cloud game.
I've just... sorry, I'm just looking through the trailer now. Sorry to interrupt. Sure. And at the top, it's got text saying, this game uses cloud streaming technology. So yeah,
well, there you go.
It's a cloud-based game, which is... I'm not going to lie, it's a bit disappointing.
I wasn't excited, now I'm just deflated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw this in the Square Enix presentation the other day and thought it was fine. And I like the direction and stuff, but it just, I don't know, the gameplay just kind of looks like so many other action games. And the choosing characters, like, it slows down time. It's really weird. I was hoping it was going to be an Astral Chain thing, and it's not. So I'm happy to move on.
Worms Rumble we got. I don't really know a lot about Worms Rumble, except it's a battle royale. It's a battle royale game with worms. It's not really a worms game, is it?
Yeah.
It looked, well, there were some, like, from the side perspective where it kind of looked like traditional worms at times, but I don't know.
It just doesn't even remotely resemble worms to me.
It's neat, you know. It's just like, yeah, it's fine. Let's move on.
Yeah. Speaking of moving on, we have Astra Ascending.
What is that?
It's a turn-based RPG, I believe, with a lot of keyframes and motion tweening.
I forgot what that game was. I don't have the direct in front of me. I should. I'm sorry.
I'm just looking at the notes, and I just read out what was written. I can't deny I didn't remember.
I thought you made that name up.
Not to dismiss this game, it could be cool, but I didn't have much of an impression on it.
No, it just looked fine. It just didn't scream of anything particularly unique or interesting. Yeah. I mean, I'd like to be proven wrong, but Moving on, we had 2 Point Campus. Now, anyone who knows me, I'm sure you two are probably thinking the same thing. Yes, I'm very excited for this game.
Yeah, Zion and I watched this together. We were like, we want to hear what Alex thinks.
I really love the look of it. It looks like it's going a little bit more towards the sort of roller coaster tycoon angle. It looks like rather than just building rooms and filling them, you're actually able to do stuff outside and stuff like that. I'm really keen to see what they do with it on the whole. It's coming from the 2 Point guys who are, sort of basically largely Bullfrog alumni, so they really know what they're doing.
Awesome. Yeah, it looks really good, and it's great to have more of these kind of games on the Switch as well.
Yeah, I love management sims. Can't get enough of them. Well, I can, but I like them still.
Yeah, it feels like there's, the roller coaster tycoon games, or at least those kind of the theme park ones, always have, there's just a lot of fun and crazy stuff happening, and I know there's a lot of people out there that seemed like they wanted this team to tackle something in that regard, but I'm glad that they're trying to do something different, because I don't think we've gotten a game in this style before. I could be wrong, but it looks different.
Well, we had Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, which is sort of like that, but...
Oh, sure.
At the same time, it's still clearly trying to carve its own path.
Yeah, and that's nice.
Then we had Monkey Ball Collection Remastered. That's not the name. Who wrote this list?
Banana
It wasn't
Mania.
me. So...
Banana Rana Funday Sunday.
Banana splits in the ditch. No,
That sounds like a Monkey Ball title.
It does a bit. So yes, this is Super Monkey Ball 1, Super Monkey Ball 2, and I genuinely can't remember the other one.
So it's Deluxe. Deluxe was a PlayStation 2 and Xbox game that it compiled 1 and 2 with some new stuff as well. So it's basically 1 and 2 with all the Deluxe stuff. And
okay.
I'm over the moon. This leaked yesterday, so it's not like a huge surprise or anything, but still, seeing it in person is great. They've taken 1 and 2 and they've remade them in a Banana Blitz style, which I'm not over the moon about, but it looks really faithful. The level design's 1-to-1, there's no stupid bumpers at the edge. It just feels like Monkey Ball's back. Yeah,
it just looks like a bloody good Monkey Ball game, to be honest. I mean, it's 1 and 2, so unsurprisingly, it's a bloody good Monkey Ball game. Yeah, because Banana Blitz just didn't really do it for me. It was okay. It kind of felt like one of those, it's sort of like a spiritual successor in some ways, which I know it never was, but that was kind of the feel I got from it.
Banana Blitz was the downfall of the series, to be honest. It's when they started making the level design... it's different to what they had in the first game. The mini-games weren't very good either. Everything's in it. Every single mini-game from 1, 2, and Deluxe. We've got Monkey Target, we've got Monkey Baseball, we've got Monkey Soccer, we've got Monkey Billiards. It's all here. Every single one.
I always just like saying Monkey Billiards. It's just fun to say.
Yeah.
I think I'm on the side of I actually enjoy the new art style a little bit, but I would love to see if they had like a classic mode or something, or maybe some classic costumes. Because if they're remaking, yeah, that's fair.
Moving on from that, we had a bit of a surprise, and I'm still not fully sure how I feel about this just yet, but Mario Party Superstars.
It's confusing, because haven't we done this? they had Mario Party the top 100.
Yeah, it's like it's the top 100, but this time it's on the Switch. And it's saying like, hey, it's 5 boards from the N64 games, and it's like, okay, is it going to play like those? Or I don't really know what the game is, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, in the trailer they say there's also 100 mini-games from across the entire series, which again is the premise of the top 100.
Yes.
Yeah, I talked about the fact that when John and I were watching the video as well, that I thought that the top 100 didn't have boards, but I'm looking and it looks like it did have boards. So I wonder if this is going to be sort of just a remake of that game. Hopefully someone in the comments can let us know. But,
I don't think the top 100 had like traditional boards like this. It had some sort of like Toad Rush mode, I believe, or something. Or I'm probably getting confused with another Mario Party game.
That game's a blur in my memory.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to this, though. I feel like Super Mario Party had a good foundation, and it looks like they're running with a similar, similar premise, but just giving it the N64 flair, and I can't see that failing.
Yeah, I can't really see it being a bad thing. I want to learn more about it, you know? I'm so skeptical of Mario Party games nowadays.
At least they got the online.
Yes! Oh my god, they actually had to make a big point of it, saying, guys, it's online. Moving on, we had a little mention of Metroid Prime 4. They said, hey, it's still in development, and they showed absolutely nothing, but that wasn't really surprising. What was rather lovely, and my god, John, you actually, you got it absolutely right. Metroid Dread. It's even called Metroid Dread. Metroid 5. My god.
I lost my
freaking
mind at the logo reveal. Metroid Dread was confirmed 16 bloody years ago.
16?
And they're finally doing it. It's nuts, and it looks amazing. It's the style is so mechanical. It's nothing like Metroid's done before. And then we've got like this Nemesis kind of looking thing that's chasing us around. I can't even fathom everything that's happening right now, but I'm so in.
They're so clear that they are so leaning into the kind of the fear element that was so effective in Metroid Fusion. I can't believe how long ago Metroid Fusion was. And they're really angling towards that. And yeah, when they first revealed that monster and Samus starts shooting it, and it doesn't even flinch, it just carries on. Samus fires a missile and it just doesn't move, and it's just like, yep, you better run. It's
intimidating, and the gameplay looks perfect too. They're taking the melee counter back from Samus Returns, but they're not quite. It doesn't look like they're revolving around it as much as that game did. Like, she's shooting a lot more rather than waiting for melee opportunities, which I love, because the game did rely on it a bit too much. And there's also a slide in there, so it looks like she's going to be really nimble, like really nimble with her moveset. And I'm imagining running away from that robot, sliding under something while keeping that momentum moving, jumping up a wall, climbing. There's so many opportunities for what they can do in this game. And it's so soon, too. It's mere months away.
I know. It feels like this is just like, hey, it's just the new Metroid game, and we've had all this evolution over years, but it just feels like, all that evolution happened in a parallel universe, and we're just suddenly getting all that hard work put into this game. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, this is really one of those instances where if you ever have something that you wanted, that you've believed in, for your whole life, like all the people out there that have been pining for Metroid Dread for 16 years, they finally got their wish. It's insane. I can't believe it's really a thing.
Yeah, I know Prime 4 is the bigger title, but honestly, just to me personally, Metroid 5 means more. The core series. I mean, I love Prime, but the core series has just been this such an important part of my life. Whereas Prime, like the first game, magnificent. 2 and 3 also great, but they're not quite the same legacy to me. Whereas Metroid 5 is just building upon something that I think holds much more value. So yeah, this is such a big deal.
I absolutely adore the original Metroid series. It was one of the first games I ever got. It was, well, Metroid 2 specifically on the Game Boy. And I have a very clear memory of playing Metroid 2, and my brother got a Game Boy exactly the same time as me, the exact same two games, Wave Race and Metroid 2. And I was playing Metroid 2, and I looked over at my brother after playing for, I don't know, half an hour or something, looked over, he was playing Wave Race. I didn't realize he wasn't playing Metroid, and I was like, how'd you get to that level?
It's a valid question. Where's that power up at?
Yeah. I'm absolutely thrilled to bits. And the fact that they're actually calling it Metroid Dread, I'm over the moon. This is, this made the Direct for me. It doesn't matter about any of the rest. This was absolutely stellar.
I wonder how much of the bones of the game have actually changed over time. Because do we know if this is being developed by Mercury Steam now?
Yeah, in the Treehouse they confirmed it's Mercury Steam, but Sakamoto is still directing. So you've got to imagine that Sakamoto's had ideas lying around for this game for like a decade and a half.
Yeah, I've never been, the biggest Metroid fan. I like the games. I just usually end up getting lost halfway through and then I stop. But this game really,
Mr.
it
Zeal.
does look. I know. This game really does look so dreadful to be just to the point about it. And I'm a big survival horror game person, and I think even those aspects of this game too. Like John mentioned, the fact that this new Emmy is its name, I believe. This robot is kind of like hunting you down, almost like Nemesis or something like that, or Tyrant in Resident Evil. And I really like that idea as well.
It's basically like they've taken Hollow Knight and Five Nights at Freddy's and smushed them together.
Oh,
Fusion tried that premise, but it was quite scripted. Like once you knew what was going on, you can anticipate when it's coming up. Whereas this looks far more dynamic.
It definitely looks like a much more core part of the experience, and that's not to downplay Fusion's use of fear and sort of genuinely feeling vulnerable. It was expertly done, but to double down on that, I'm all for it.
I really hope Nintendo takes your quote of Five Nights at Freddy's and Hollow Knight fused, and they put that on the box. And then not only do they just put Nintendo Life, they put Alex Olney as well.
I don't think I could live that down.
My last comment: if people don't buy this game, I'm gonna come to their house and I'm gonna force them to play it.
I'm gonna do the same.
That's mighty kind of you guys.
Moving on, we have Just Dance 2022. And moving on, we have Cruisin' Blast.
That's cool. Cruisin' Blast is very cool. This has lived in the arcades for a long time. It's a Nintendo-made arcade game.
Oh, is it Nintendo-made?
Yeah.
My God.
But it's been such a long time since Cruisin' has come to a Nintendo platform. Like, what was it, N64, the last one?
There was one on Wii, but I think it was just called Cruisin'.
Yeah. Cruisin' USA, I think, was N64, and Cruisin' was Wii. Yeah, it's been a long time then.
I don't know anything about it.
The series it's pretty much known for the days of the N64, and I've seen this arcade version out and about at places, at water parks or different theme parks and things like that, or in shopping malls just straight in the center, and I've never given it a shot. So I'm excited to actually play it again, or give it a shot now on Switch. And at first I thought it was a new Excitebots game, or just something in the Excite series, because it looks so over the top and crazy. And I mean, the originals weren't necessarily as fast-paced and nuts as this one is, but I'm really excited for it.
Moving on, we have Dragon Ball Z, or Z. I suppose it is Dragon Ball Z because it's a proper noun. Hang on, that's not spelled
Kakarot.
right, isn't it? Kakarot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's whoever's written
Carrot
these notes
cake.
has put Kakarot. Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I know nothing about this, which you can probably tell from the fact that I had to double check the name.
This can be summarized with the word neat, because it came out like a year ago on other platforms.
I skipped over it. I loved Dragon Ball back in the day, and I'd give this a shot. I would much prefer a new, just straight up Dragon Ball open world game. I will say that, because the world is just way more appealing to me, but this is fine. This is kind of like on Legacy of Goku vibes a little bit, I guess. So yeah.
Then we got Mario Golf Super Rush. I don't know whether you've heard of that game. They announced it ages ago, and it's coming out in about 15 minutes or something.
15 days.
I'm pretty sure the gameplay's directly from another trailer. I don't think any of this was new.
I think there was one or two new shots. I don't remember, but at the same time,
New Donk was new. New Donk was new.
Yeah,
for sure. The
to
rest
be fair,
of the stuff was from an overview trailer from like a week ago.
Yeah, to be fair, New Dong looked fantastic. And then
I love that you can bounce balls off the walls and stuff. That's so cool.
That's awesome.
Then we got Monster Hunter Stories 2. I understand why Nintendo includes these previously announced things, but we already know about these games.
Yeah, we can skip over these.
Yeah. Another game we can skip over is WarioWare Get It Together. No.
In that moment, John had a heart attack.
Yeah, it's been so long. Smooth Moves was the last proper WarioWare game. We've had Gold since then, which was a compilation. We've had DIY and Game & Wario, which were kind of spin-offs. But they're returning to the microgame formula. And it looks like they're changing things up too. Like you play as like an icon on the screen, and with that you can play co-op as well. So they're doing something different, but returning to basics. And I have wanted a sequel to Smooth Moves for so long now. So this was a huge wish of mine.
Yeah, I think part of me is a little bit concerned because they are changing things up, but at the same time, you know, we haven't played this new game, so I should just be optimistic and you know, be excited for it at the same time for the fact that we're getting a new WarioWare. But I'm really curious to just get this in our hands and see how it plays. But there's a lot of possibilities with it.
I do know what you mean. Like in other WarioWare games, anything's possible, and it seems like maybe that's limited by being a floating character. But WarioWare has always kind of suffered with multiplayer because you take turns for multiplayer. Like no one can play at the same time, whereas now you can. So maybe that will open up possibilities that you wouldn't have before.
I think the multiplayer is the reason that they've done what they've done because it prevents that limitation, at least to a degree. It appears to only be 2-player at the moment. Am I right in saying that, or is
I think that's all they've shown.
Yeah. Which is fine, you know. It's talk like co-op, you know, about co-op and stuff like that. There's still a lot I think we haven't seen with it, so we're just gonna have to wait and see. I think, but it looks promising.
And it's in September.
Yeah.
Right, it's so soon. It does kind of feel like we're going to get that sort of excitement, the banter that people get when they play Overcooked, where they're like yelling at each other, trying to tell each other to go do this or that, you know, except for now we have these super short mini games that we all have to try to remember how they play and then work together with. Like that does sound exciting at least. And the fact that you won't have to only play it in handheld mode either, because if this was a very touchscreen focused game, then, you know, how would you do that on the TV with just the pointer, I guess, on the Switch? That doesn't sound fun. So maybe those little characters kind of gives reason to that as well, was for just being able to play it in docked and handheld mode.
I'm confident.
Moving on, we have Shin Megami Tensei V, the first decent look we've had at this game since it was announced in, I think it was about 1983. I'm not entirely certain about that, but
it was part of the initial Switch presentation, wasn't it? Back in January of 2017.
Yeah, I suspected it might have been, but I didn't actually check. So yeah, that's ridiculous.
It looks good though.
This
is our first proper gameplay look, as you said. And I know Switch fans want Persona on Switch, but hopefully this like scratches that itch for you.
Yeah, the thing that was always cool about, or that is always cool about the SMT series, is just how much more dark and serious it takes itself. I mean, I know Persona does as well, but it has a lot more humor, and this series just looks so evil, or this new game even does, and I'm stoked about that. And the fact that the battles actually are sort of in like a third person style now, instead of the first person angle that most SMT titles take place into. So I'm a sucker for that as well. Any game that was like first person back in the day, I just didn't care for it as much. It's probably why I never played Dragon Warrior on NES.
And SMT has a lot of spin-offs, but the core series hasn't continued for a while. Like SMT3 was the last full 3D one, and that was on PS2. 3DS had SMT4, which was, that was also 3D as well, but battles were kind of 2D. So this is like the first time the series has properly jumped into HD in this full, big open world scope with overworld encounters too. So this is really doing a lot for the series.
Next up, we had, please correct my pronunciation, Danganronpa.
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 This was a cool one.
I knew I'd get it wrong. Danganronpa Decadence, which is 4 games in one. And if it wasn't apparent by the fact that I don't know how to pronounce it, I have no idea about any of these games. So I don't really have an opinion.
This is a really exciting one. Yeah, like especially John and I were talking about the fact that all of these games, for the most part, are getting really expensive, and they're all locked away on systems like the Vita, or the PS4 versions are crazy expensive. And they announced that this is getting a physical version with all of them. Or if you just want to buy one, you can buy it individually on the eShop. And I'm so glad that they're giving us that option.
I've not played V3 yet, so this is going to be my chance to play it. I played Danganronpa 1 on Vita, and they're so well suited to a handheld. So yeah, I'm really stoked for this. It's kind of shocking this franchise wasn't on Switch yet.
Speaking of franchises that it should be on Switch and now are, we have finally got one of the last Wii U games that hasn't been ported to Switch. Fatal Frame: Maiden of Blackwater. I can't say I'm surprised that this has come over. But I played it briefly. I didn't really get it, but I always wanted to give it a proper go, so I've now got that opportunity. Not that I couldn't just fire up the Wii U, but the Wii U is getting fewer and fewer reasons to stay plugged in.
We've done like 2 videos on Wii U games, and this has been in I think this has been in both of them. So that video is now dated. But this is a really good Wii U game. I'd say it's one of the best ones. And it's something that never got a physical release in America, so it was never given that much of a chance. And even in Europe, we only had the limited edition version, which is like £200 now. So this game, people didn't really get a great chance to play it, and hopefully there's a physical version so people can finally give it a proper chance.
Yeah, so if anyone at Nintendo is listening, please consider making this physical, because we've already seen what happens with the Wii, the Wii shop channel. Like that eventually closed down, and we lost all of those games. Or we have some of them still preserved online thanks to people that do that. But just making a physical game is so important, and I thought this was going to be a game that was going to die on the Wii U, and it blew my mind to see it in this direct.
Then we had Doom Eternal's first DLC pack, which is Ancient Gods Part 1.
How do you feel about that, Alex? Because you played Doom Eternal on Switch.
I welcome DLC for Doom Eternal with open arms. It's about bloomin' time, frankly. I don't know why it's taken so long, probably just the porting process, but even so, I've got so many other games in my mind at the moment. I definitely want to go back and give this a go, but it sort of feels a bit late to the party.
And it's definitely pushing Doom Eternal to its limits on the Switch. Like, that footage, it got a little bit mucky.
Yeah, and some of the footage I don't think was from the Switch version because it was running at 60 frames a second, I'm not going to lie. I don't really like it when they do that. They did that with Monster Hunter Stories 2 as well. There were sections that were at 60, and it's like, it just feels misrepresentative. Then we had Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, which we knew about, didn't we?
Yeah, they confirmed this a few months ago.
Yeah.
This might be our first time seeing it, though.
Yeah, and it looked fine, looked better than the original, which isn't saying much, but, it's at least expected. And yeah, Tony Hawk's games, absolutely. I'll take them any day of the week. It's maybe a little bit, I don't know, it looks like it may be a little bit soft in places, but I suppose that's kind of to be expected for ports like this. It's disappointing, but it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's going to be a nice, cozy handheld game, but, they're definitely great, so this should be a good port.
Yeah, I think it's good on Switch too. This was one of those that I skipped over. Just even though I'm into the Tony Hawk games, I played a lot of Skate back in the day too. But just having it on Switch will be nice as long as it runs well. Then
we had Strange Brigade, and I have absolutely no idea what this game is beyond kind of a sort of an over-the-shoulder third-person shooter.
It came out on other platforms a while back, but I don't know anything about it beyond the fact that it's a multiplayer treasure hunting game, I suppose. Which, didn't we already get something? Did we get something like that on Wii U?
Yeah, it reminds me very much of that game. I cannot remember what it was called, but...
Yeah.
And that was free to play. I don't know whether this one is. It didn't say it was, but you never know.
Made me yawn.
There's a market for this, hopefully, but it sounds like it's not us.
What didn't make me yawn, although we already knew about it because of Ubisoft Forward, was Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope. I nearly said 2, but there is no 2 in there.
No, that's the title. This didn't show anything new. I'm pretty sure all the gameplay is from the Ubisoft Forward.
Yeah, which was slightly disappointing, but yeah, we haven't actually talked about it yet, so just very briefly, yeah, I really like the look of this game. I was a big fan of the original. I must admit there's something I don't want to say anything too much because I just really don't know, but some of this footage looked to be should we just say a suspiciously high resolution? And I don't know if that's because it's running on, sort of like some sort of development system or something like that, or if it's maybe Switch Pro footage. I don't want to say anything.
The game does look really good, and it looks better than the original, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, who knows, I suppose.
Then we had, this was a massive surprise, Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, which is, I think, a slightly horrible title, but 2 fantastic games, and they have done so much with this. It looks like a proper Switch game. They haven't just up-resed anything, it's been remade from the ground up. The graphics are gorgeous. The animations are appropriately kind of stretchy, bouncy and things. It just looks great.
Xeon got misrepresented in the comments. See, what he said in his bets was he wants no Fire Emblem because he wants Advance Wars. But people just just focused on no Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
Xeon, you got it. No Fire Emblem, right. You got Advance Wars.
I completely forgot that I even made that prediction in the video, that I forgot to put it in the bingo. I lost my mind when it said Orange Star Army on the screen. Like, that clicked for me, and
yeah.
I like took my headphones off. I knew nothing. I thought nothing in the Direct could make me lose it, and this was it for me. After looking at the gameplay, part of me wishes that we would have gotten more of a 2D, 3D art style, I think, with it instead, with more pixels. But I think the 3D models will grow on me eventually. I'm just glad to have a new Advance Wars, even though I get it's a remake, but it's nice to be able to talk about this series again.
Yeah, this is one of those games that people, they make predictions every time, but every year we lose hope a bit more. And it got to the point where I was just not predicting this game anymore. I didn't think Advance Wars was ever coming back. But, oh yeah, what a great surprise. And there were no rumors or leaks about this one either.
Yeah,
No.
And it's not, they skipped over Battalion Wars. I never played it, but I just get that out of here for now. They just went straight back to original Advance Wars, and I'm so appreciative of that.
Well, you say original Advance Wars is based on Famicom Wars from the, I believe the N64. No.
Wow. You're right, though.
Very
the games
cool.
we never got.
Moving on, we had Hyrule Warrior. We got to look at Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity DLC Pulse of the Ancients, which is just a lot of words to some people. And yeah, it looked like a Warriors DLC pack with the Zelda theme. I quite like some of the weapons, and I like the fact that you at one point seem to be able to control a Guardian. But yeah, I mean, I haven't actually played this game because, well, I just haven't. So I don't have any strong opinions.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the DLC, but I was hoping for something a bit more extravagant. I mean, playing as a Guardian's cool, but where's my Beetle army? Where's all the weird characters they could have put into this game? They're probably coming later, but
Tingle
this pack was
2.
just kind of like, yeah.
I hope you're right, John. Yeah, I played Age of Calamity, and I almost wish I didn't. I didn't really enjoy it that much. But seeing for some reason, I love the idea of playing as a Guardian and just running around, crawling around, and trashing everything and shooting lasers. And I hope that the rest of the DLC just continues to get weird like that.
Next up, we had guys. Don't forget, Skyward Sword HD's coming out. They don't want you to forget. It's been a part of every major presentation for a while now, and yeah, it's Skyward Sword HD. We know there's nothing new, nothing really to talk about. Is there?
Yeah, nothing.
Did that game come out on Wii? I forget.
I think it did come out on Wii, now that you mention it, Xeon.
It's annoying. The stuff they could show. Twilight Princess and Wind Waker both had quality of life improvements, so there's bound to be some in this game. They keep just showing it as if it's a new game. There's nothing new that they're showing. It's frustrating.
Yeah, they're not really giving a lot of us that have played the game before, they're not really giving us a reason to go back. Like Skyward Sword has a good story, but I don't really want to experience it again. And maybe once it releases, maybe I'll feel differently. But they're not really hyping it up the way that they could be. And maybe there is nothing else to show about it. I hope that's not
That'd
the
be
case.
disappointing.
Yeah. Next up, we had the Zelda Game & Watch, which is 4 games The original Legend of Zelda, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, Link's Awakening, which surprised me, and Vermin, with Link playing the Vermin abuser. Yeah, I mean, this is something I believe you predicted, John, and you absolutely got it right. And there was a part of me that just sort of thought, well, yeah, maybe, but didn't think it would actually happen. So I'm quite pleased.
I got the details wrong. I assumed it'd be modelled after the original one, the dual screen one, which they probably didn't do that because of supply. It's modelled straight after the Super Mario Bros. Anniversary one, which makes sense. I wish the Game & Watch game played more like the actual Zelda Game & Watch, but that's a nitpick. It's a cool collector's item. I'm gonna get it, of course.
It does make your Legend of Zelda dual screen Game & Watch even cooler now that they didn't remake it, though. So that's neat. But I'm really surprised that they're even making another one, because it seems like, I've gone to the store and still seen tons of Game & Watch on the shelf. So I was really surprised that they're taking another crack at it.
But then, last thing they showed off, we got a bit of a big old boogaloo. Yep. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild's sequel, which is still awkward to say. We finally got a look at it. It wasn't much, but it was something.
Yeah, there's enough to speculate about. There's a world in the sky which looks a lot like how Skyward Sword works, which I guess is why they're re-releasing it. Like we see Link falling through the sky, which is a very similar animation to when you jump off a Loftwing. And maybe Loftwings are back. Maybe they're back.
Maybe. We're no doubt going to speculate left, right, and center about this sort of thing, but given the fact that Hyrule Castle is being ripped out of the ground and is now a floating island, I wonder if that's how they're changing the landscape. Big chunks of Hyrule are being lifted up, revealing, sort of caverns and stuff underneath, but then also those new parts are being developed, maybe damaged, and are now floating above. Or maybe there are, there's like ancient ruins and stuff, not necessarily Sheikah, but like older parts of Hyrule buried underground that are coming up and ripping through the ground and being raised up, providing a new, landscape on the ground level, but also new stuff in the sky.
We definitely see dungeons a few times. Like there's one scene where Link uses his arm as like a big flamethrower thing. So there's arm mechanics in there. I'm sure we'll touch on this far deeper later. But yeah, there's like caverns down there too. So I think you're right. They're pulling up not only the ground, but also all the elements into the sky as well. So this is going to be a much more vertical Hyrule than previously.
I feel like, originally some people might have made the comparison to Princess Mononoke with the way that that Link's arm is kind of, transformed into this sort of, it's kind of possessed in a way, I guess, or it has some magical abilities. And I feel like they've kind of captured that Studio Ghibli magic even more. Like there's the moment where Link kind of not teleports, but morphs through or flies through the ground that's floating in the sky, and it's just such a magical thing. And there's so many weird little elements happening in this too. Like I don't know if you noticed, there's I'm blanking on what they're called, but the rock monsters that
Stone
that erupt. Yeah, there's one that has bokoblins standing on it. They've built a base on the rock or on the talus, and it's coming to attack you. That's so neat. I love that. If they need to take more time to just keep doing weird stuff to surprise us like that, I'm pleased.
And it's next year, which I think we're all expecting. We won't be putting our bets on this year.
I was kind of hoping it would be like Christmas this year, but I'm not surprised. Let's put it that way. But I would have liked it if it was this year. Not gonna lie, but I'd much rather it not be rushed out. So it'll be a better game for it, no doubt.
I'm a satisfied boy this year. I've got Monkey Ball coming soon. I've got Warioware. I've got Metroid. What more? I couldn't ask for more. I'm okay.
So then, if you guys could sum up... I've just realised we got no Splatoon 3. That was vaguely surprising. If you guys could sum up in 4 words exactly your feelings about the Direct, please do it.
Pretty stoked about games.
That's just pretty good.
Tailored towards my needs.
That's very good. I think I'd sum it up as Metroid Dread.
That's probably the best
I like
one.
that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Honestly, I'd say overall it was a fine direct on balance. You know, sort of. There weren't any, like, super major surprises beyond Metroid Dread. I mean, I know you predicted it, but there was a part of me, the pessimist, was just like, nah, ain't gonna happen. But Metroid Dread just absolutely elevated it beyond anything I expected. Overall, I'm thrilled to bits. Quite a few things that I don't really care about, but you know what? Not everything is for me, you know?
And almost everything is immediate. I know Breath of the Wild 2 is next year, but most titles in this were for the coming months. We've got the Monkey Ball remakes, which is so cool. A new WarioWare game. We've got SMT 5, Metroid Dread, Danganronpa, a new Mario Party. Like these are all coming within mere months of each other, and I want almost all of them. I can imagine a lot of people want more like a Mario Odyssey sequel or something like that. But I've been wanting a lot of these franchises for a long time. So just personally speaking, I'm over the moon about a lot of this stuff.
Yeah, this does feel like it was a very kind of niche direct. Like there were a lot of games in here that a lot of people have been asking for, and some of those audiences might not be as large as, you know, like the Legend of Zelda fans or the Skyrim fans or the God of War fans. You know, like some of us, you know, we want some of these games, but it feels like we're sort of in the minority, you know, with wanting like a WarioWare game or Danganronpa on Switch, or more news on SMT 5, you know, or Metroid Dread. What? Like, how is that actually a thing? I still can't believe that you really got the name right, or that the fact that they even kept it. I thought if it was actually going to come out for this long, that most people would have forgotten about that by now, and that they would have moved on. But it's so cool to see that Nintendo is still kind of, they're preserving that bit of history, or that original vision with even just the name. And there were a lot of things in this direct that I was really stoked about. Like, you know, like I said, even Life is Strange True Colors. I've been excited about it, but didn't think I was really going to play it. Now that it's coming to Switch, I probably will. And this was a really good direct for me. And yeah, I'm pleasantly pleased with it.
Pleasantly pleased. That's how you'd sum it up in 2 words.
Perfectly splendid.
Okay, well, that's our views on the Direct. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. But for the moment, all I have left to say is thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then why don't you stare at that subscribe button with absolute dread, and be sure to check out NintendoLife.com for all sorts of lovely Nintendo-related content. Thank you again for watching. Bye-bye.
Metroid Dread.
No Switch Pro? Oh.